Hi, everyone. This is Mitch, and it is Thursday, February 28th, 2019. I have a special guest today on our live show. We have Brian Bittler joining us, one of the top handicappers in the world. Absolutely tore it up this NFL season. Of course, he's all over NBA and college basketball. He's got some premium plays tonight, and you could use the discount code LIVE25 either at Sports Chat Experts or Picks and Parlays. You could also use it over at Bookie Blasters, and it works there as well. And get 25% off all of your picks today only using that discount code. But Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mitch. Very happy to be here. I've been trying to get on board, doing it once in a while with you for a while, so this will be a big day for me.
Well, one thing that I've learned over the years is that being a sports handicapper or a sports expert or sports picker doesn't make you a tech expert. So I struggle with this stuff every day and all the time. So, at least we got you here now, and then, once we have you here once, it'll be much easier to add you in the future. So I'm still trying to fix my camera angle here. It seems like I'm all over the place. So I'm going to adjust that while we're going. I'm not used to having anyone else on the show, but it's great to have Brian here. Maybe get us on some more winners, which of course is our goal. I do at least 3 free picks every single day. Our best bet's always over at sportschatexperts.com as well as picksandparlays.net. So be sure to check it out there. Of course, also available at Bookie Blasters. So be sure to check it there. Matter of fact, I just shared this live stream to Bookie Blasters, so you can watch it there as well. But of course, a lot going on in the NBA and a lot going on in college hoops. Brian, you ready for March Madness?
Oh man, I can't wait. Last March Madness was very good for me. I love basketball in general, but to see the college teams go at it, the smaller teams like we had last year that got upset wins, that's the best basketball to watch.
Yeah, to me, it's not just the best basketball, it's some of the best sports. And I'm not even just talking about the NCAA tournament. I'm talking about the conference tournaments, which start next week, which start next Monday, which start this coming Monday. So hard to believe, conference tournaments for the smaller conferences, they already start this Monday. And for those of you watching, I know you guys are all in the same boat as us. Daytime, weekday, sports, my favorite 3 words when you put them together. Everyone loves daytime, weekday sports. It's, nothing better than a Tuesday at noon Eastern time, and all of a sudden, 3 basketball games break out. And that's what makes March just such an awesome month. And, of course, you can get all of Brian's best bets over at picksandparlays.net, Sports Chat Experts, Bookie Blasters as well. Bookie Blasters is kind of a new site for us, and Brian is running the show there. He does a video, I believe, every day. He writes up free picks on that site at Bookie Blasters as well, and I believe it's bookieblasters.com is the URL. Is that correct?
Yes, a big favor for me is guys just follow my free pick every day I put out on YouTube. Bookie Blasters, just search it on YouTube. Sometimes I throw in a paid play that the members get. You get it absolutely free by being a subscriber.
Yeah, so, more free picks. I know you guys like that, and more free picks for more people. I always know that, people watch more than one person on YouTube. People go to more than one website to get their information. I'm just glad you guys always keep me in the mix, and I think adding Brian to the mix certainly is something that would add some value to. And of course, the price is right. He gives out free picks every single day, so something that you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And of course, when it comes to the premium picks, Brian's record over the years speaks for itself, and pretty excited as things grow out, as things continue to go. Even more and new exciting things will be happening, with Brian and, of course, the Bookie Blasters as well. But anyways, I just want to make a quick announcement before we get started on the free picks. Of course, if you're watching this no matter where you're watching this, if you could hit the thumbs up, greatly appreciated. It costs you nothing and helps us a ton. But I wanted to say, I wanted to make an announcement, and I want to say something, and I'll probably say it a bunch over the next couple weeks. Mark, who has been with me at college football place, college basketball place, and then sports chat place is retiring. He's not going somewhere else. None of that stuff is happening. And I know Mark's style of writing doesn't always agree with everybody, but when it comes to the Fairfield versus Marist game or anything like that, no one has covered these games better or more in depth on anywhere on the entire internet than Mark. And in fact, Mark was a trendsetter when it comes to covering those small games, because when we started covering them, nobody covered those games with free picks every single day. Mark set the bar, and he has continued to do that for us at Sports Chat. And I'll tell you what, as a friend, I'm going to miss him the most. And hopefully he remains with us in some capacity. I'm going to try and sneak him on in some kind of consulting role. But as far as covering those games, which I always have referred to the last 10 years plus as the Mark games, that's I'm going to miss him. And, like I said, just because he says he's retiring, it doesn't mean we're letting him off the hook that easy. I'm sure that we'll still get him to stick around and probably in some kind of consulting role. But anyways, let's get into some free picks today. We got a pretty decent NBA card here. I know Brian has a strong premium play in the NBA today, and you guys can check that out at picksandparlays.net, sportschatexperts.com, bookieblasters.com. You can get it at any of those places, but I don't know. I'm just looking at the card. I'm just going to pick a random game. I know it's not a game that I have a premium pick or Brian does. But we have the Pacers taking on Minnesota in early action. Now, the Pacers coming off of that back-to-back, they were terrible in the last 5 minutes against Dallas. It was nip and tuck the entire game, and then they kind of fell to pieces. Now they're back home where they're 23-8 on the season, playing against a Timberwolves team that, I don't know, I can never put my finger on. It's like, if you look back at my picks the last 8 years, I probably have the worst record in Timberwolves games of any team in the NBA. Brian, you got any feeling at all on the side or total or anything that's going on in this game with the Pacers on the back-to-back?
Well, I was really happy with Dallas turning it on yesterday. But I'm seeing a lot of money coming in on the Pacers and bets. I kind of like the Wolves getting 3.5 here on the road. Even though the Wolves are an iffy team, they always seem to bite me. Yeah,
they always. It seems that if you want to win money on the Timberwolves, just take opposite of whatever I pick in that game. I don't give out the Timberwolves a lot in Timberwolves games in the premium picks because they always seem to roast me. But of course, in this one, I kind of got to go with the public on Indiana. I just think that they're playing overall the better basketball, but it's hard to say that when they've lost their last 2 games. But both of those were on the road. The last time they lost at home was against Milwaukee, and the Bucks are just really strong this season. So this isn't a game I have a strong feeling on one way or the other. Especially,
me too. If they had a gun to my head and I had to pick one,
I
would go with the Wolves.
You're getting points, so it's like in a game that you can't decide which way to go. I usually just say I'll take the points, right? But in this case, I think that both teams are on the back-to-back. The Timberwolves went to overtime yesterday against the Hawks in a game they lost also by 8 points. I don't know. To me, it's a lean to the Pacers. So we're gonna disagree on this one. We're gonna agree that probably neither of us are gonna
slight disagreement.
It's a very slight disagreement because I think what we agree on is that neither of us are gonna put a dime on this game. That's for sure.
Nope.
So the first pick, I don't know. For me, it's the Pacers. For Brian, it's the T-Wolves. But anyways, we do at least 3 free picks on this show every single day. Our best bet's always over at sportschatexperts.com as well as sportschatplace.com, Premium Plus. I know Brian did some preparation for the show. Do you have a pick you want to give to our... Oh, also, be sure to check out the disc. It's hard for me to do it now because I'm only half a screen, but it's right down here. Use the discount code LIVE25. That's good all day long at sportschatexperts.com as well as sportschatplace.com, Premium Plus. So I took the Pacers minus 3.5. Brian's on the other side. Okay, do you have a game that you're looking at today, Brian?
Yeah, if I had to give out one free pick that I like the best, I would go with the Pacific Tigers against Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga, as long as they win out, they've got the number one seed, number one in the country. Tigers 6-1 last 7 home games against a team with a winning record. I think Pacific keeps it within that high 20. I got 23 points right now. The line sits at 22. I like Pacific with the 22 points at home.
Yeah, the home dogs have just been so good. We saw it once again last night with the home dogs, with Ole Miss covering, Georgia covering. We saw Villanova, the unranked favorite against the ranked team, winning and covering on just a stupid sequence in the last.
Boston College yesterday.
Yeah, Boston College, the outright winner. We gave that one out on the show. Penn State as well was a dog at home that won outright. So the home dogs have just been money. I got to go with you.
Penn State's been a lot better lately, and I think they're going to be a Big Ten tough out when the tournament starts.
Oh, absolutely. I think Penn State and Illinois, even though Illinois came up well short against Purdue yesterday, I think Illinois is a team that's shown that they can beat anybody on any given day, and I think nobody wants to see them on the other side of it. The thing about Penn State that I talked about yesterday on the show when I gave out the Penn State pick, which was super unpopular, which sometimes is a pretty good sign as to how strong the pick is, Penn State has played in a lot of games that have been really close. It's like they have their record overall. It means they don't end up on the right side of it, but against the spread, they end up on the right side of it, and that's all I care about.
If you looked at that Maryland game, you think -1.5 Maryland. They're one of the top teams in the country. They're playing for a better seed. Penn State, nothing to play for, but that's not really what happened. Penn State came to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also when you get into late February, early March, that finality, that this is, for some of these players, this is the last time they're going to play organized basketball. This is the last time they're going to play in front of the home crowd. This is, it's just a whole different emotional level. And then, next week will be senior day. And it's like, senior day sometimes it's almost better to take the other team on senior day because the emotion it's like ring night, right? The emotion's so high. There's nowhere for them to go but down. It's like by 10 minutes into the game, they're spent. It happens, especially at places like Rupp Arena where, you just don't get a lot of seniors. And, so it's a quick announcement at Rupp, but it's always like a very emotional thing there too. And, it's rare you see, it's rare you see Kentucky seniors that you know who the players are, right? It's some of these places, but nonetheless. Anyways, I'm gonna go to a game here in college hoops as well. I'm gonna let's see. I'm just gonna do a scroll. Let's look at Murray State up against Moorhead. I've been on Murray State just a ton this season. 9-3 against the number on the road. It's a big game for Moorhead, and Marchant on Murray State, one of the top players in the country. The thing is about Murray State is that this is a team that's focused in because they know if they don't win their conference tournament, they're going to the NIT. These guys do not get in bracketology, and especially the new system where Oklahoma, who I think, I'll take Murray State over Oklahoma straight up if they play 3 out of 5 or something. But I got to say that I like Murray State here. We're laying 9.5 points on the road. I know the road is death right now for favorites, but not in this case. I think Murray State just too much. I like the way that Moorhead has kind of picked things up recently. We've gotten a little bit better than what we saw earlier this season, but I just think, when you have a superstar player like Murray State has, very, very tough to defend. Morant, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong, cover a lot of ground here. 23 points last time out, and this is just normal. 9, it's not even the 23, it's the 9 of 12 from the field with 12 assists, tossed in there with it. So Morant, sorry about the mispronunciation. I'm sure I'll get hammered by the trolls. But anyways, I'll take Murray State here. Any thoughts on that or another game you want to
I'll tell you what, I agree with you on that one. Slight lean to Murray State. I like that play. I think they lay the wood and take Moorhead State out pretty easily in that one. More to play for, Murray State. Back to your last game with the Gonzaga Pacific game, I understand, the angle that people would take there. Number one, that Gonzaga is killing people. And number two, they got to play for that number one seed.
They have to win to be in that, to stay on that number one line. Because if they lose, they're off the number one line. One loss will take them down. But at the same time, this is a team that's got to stay healthy too. So it's like,
yeah, they don't really have to put their foot on the throat of
right.
Pacific.
Murray State is probably thinking that, if they somehow they don't win their conference tournament, maybe if they have a good enough resume, even with the 4 losses at this point, that somehow they get in because of Morant. And
to do that, they got to blow people out.
They got to kill people.
Win
They
the
got
first one.
Yeah, and to us, that means they have to cover spreads. It's like we see it all the time. Teams that win and don't cover spreads, and generally those teams do not do as well. But anyways, we're here live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If you're watching us live or on the replay, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, it'd be greatly appreciated. Of course, we're on 7 channels now. We're on Picks and Parlays, and we're on 8 channels now. We're on YouTube. Picks and Parlays and Sports Chat Plays channel, the Sports Chat Plays and Picks and Parlays Facebook group, Sports Chat Plays and Picks and Parlays Facebook page, as well as Bookie Blaster page and Twitter Periscope through the Sports Chat Plays. So gets more and more every single day, and the shows they seem to move right along each and every day. So here's one of these games. This is one of those games. Green Bay up against Wright State. To me, this is one of these March games. We have Green Bay is 15-14 this season, 10-2 though straight up at home, 6-4 against the number at home, up against Wright State, who we've seen step up to the plate. This is a potential tournament team as well. 18-11 on the season, but just 4-6 against the number on the road, and 4-6 straight up on the road. This team's also 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, but do you want to go up against, do you want to, this is just one of those bad spots where once again we have a home dog. Green Bay plus 3.5 points just seems like a logical place to be for me. I like the home dogs. I'm going to continue to ride them. Any thoughts here, Brian, on this one? Or is it?
No, I'm going to have to pass on that one. I can't give an educated guess on that.
All right. Well, you guys know I cover all
That's
of it.
my first pass on that.
That's okay. It's okay because I know that this isn't like, a Pac-12 game or something where it's in the mainstream. It's probably not a game. Brian, before the show, let me let everybody know that before the show, Brian and I talked for maybe 2 to 3 minutes to, as our preparation.
Yeah, when you just said that game, I had to quickly find it on the rotation and look at it quick.
I'll tell you guys the difference is that when we do the podcast with Tony T on Sports Pick Info, Brian's a regular on there. I'm a regular on there. Tony sends out a sheet, and I swear to God, it must take him an hour and a half to put this together. He goes through every game, puts just a brief blurb about it, how he's going to sort of lead into it for you, so you have time to prepare for it. I'm just looking at a schedule of 100 games here. I'm just throwing darts at them. Brian said he had a sheet with about 20 games on them, and I'm going to guess I missed the sheet on that pick. But anyways, if you're watching us live or on the replay, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, greatly appreciate it. Of course, we are bringing home February today. It's our last day of February. That means tomorrow is March. Bring on March. Bring on the madness. And of course, Monday, conference tournaments start. So I believe that we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion over at Sports Pick Info on the podcast and on the live show. And I'll be on it. Brian will be on it, and a few other handicappers as well to kind of a primer for March. So I'm not
sure. See if we can find that
going.
Loyola, Illinois team in the vast field of college basketball tournament teams.
Yeah, it's do they they have to obviously win their tournament to get in at this point. But if we can find
not Loyola Chicago exactly, but a team that plays like they did last season. That was an amazing run.
Yeah, it seems that over the years that we've had some teams that have had amazing runs, and I think why I've won the bracket pool twice. I've won the Vegas handicappers one, and I won it twice. But the thing is, the reason why I am so bad at brackets generally, people always want to see my bracket, and it's like, you don't want to see my bracket because I think when it comes to picking teams straight up, I'm not nearly as good. When it comes to it's like, yeah, I know that Yale can cover getting 15 points against just about anybody, right? But I get so emotionally attached to that 15-point easy cover that I pick them to win the game outright in my bracket, and the whole thing gets blown up. And so the years that I won the bracket pool was the year that VCU and made it to the Final Four. That was the year that it was VCU and anytime that there's the odd teams in there. So there was a semifinal match that year between Kentucky and UConn, and I had that. And then on the other side, I had the whole thing, all blown up just like it was. So I ended up, winning it that year because most people were out of it by then, while I was all over those smaller teams. But we have a really big card here in college hoops, and let me see if I can pick a little bit more popular.
Big card today, but a lot of small teams.
Yeah, well, we have St. John's taking on Xavier in a Big East game. And St. John's laying 4.5 in this thing. Xavier been absolutely red hot coming into March. And boy, this, the post-Chris Mack era at Xavier hasn't been quite as hasn't started quite the way where he left off. And, St. John's, Chris Mullen, I think if St. John's had a really good coach, like Archie Miller or something like that, they would probably be where Marquette is, in that conference. But, I see Xavier coming on strong here at the end of the season. And I don't know. They're getting 4.5 here at St. John's. We've seen St. John's win big, and we've seen them lose big. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I definitely like the way St. John's plays. I've won some good money on them earlier in the season. Not much lately. But I kind of lean to St. John's in this one. Line dropped a point, a little bit of value at -3.5, I think.
I think there's some value there. I'm going to take the other side on this one, so you guys aren't getting much insight here. Brian's going to go.
Me and him disagree on the two.
Yeah, this one I have to go with Xavier. I like the road dog getting 4.5. I just like the way that they're playing recently, and I think that earlier this season and up until the last 2 weeks. Xavier's been really a letdown team. Meanwhile, St. John's, I don't like the coaching there. And I do like that they put together this team with a lot of transfers from really top-notch programs. But I don't like the way that they've come together as a team on a consistency basis. Meanwhile, Xavier is kind of doing what Xavier does. And one thing that I always look to in every single sport is the teams that can play defense. And we look at the last 5 games where Xavier's really come on strong. They're only allowing 63.8 points a game, while St. John's is allowing 71 points a game. Offensively, it's splitting hairs, less than 1 point differential between the two teams. So to me, I think the value is going to be on Xavier. I know Brian sees the value in the point drop. I see the value on Xavier. We're going to agree to disagree on this one, but that's why this isn't a premium pick for either of us, because it's like this is
very good against the spread.
This is a good game.
St. John's.
This is a good game for the fans, and I'm a fan, and a lot of guys know, my TV setup. I have the Big East games usually on the big TV because these are the games that they've been so hard to call, and they've come down to the wire so many times. And I'm not even really a Big East fan. I'm not only not a fan of Xavier or St. John's, but I'm also not even really a Big East fan. But I just really think their games have been exciting to watch this year. A lot of up and down the court action. A team like Creighton that just plays no defense and tries to outscore you every single night. Then you have other teams like Marquette that seem to be able, when they're on, they're just throwing them in from everywhere. And, Villanova, who's, the defending national champions when all is said and done. So just a really fun conference to watch. And I think that's why we have a game where, we can both look at St. John's and Xavier. And I'm sure Brian, if he digs in even further, he could probably make a pretty good case for Xavier. And I could probably make a pretty good case for St. John's in this one too. So it's just.
I think Marquette will be a tough out in March in the tournament.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that Wojo is probably trying to position himself for the Duke job eventually, and I think that's where all roads lead. But I think he's done a great job with Marquette. It's kind of they play in his image. They're tough as nails, and when they're hitting those outside shots, it's very, very tough to beat a team that can hit from the outside, because what are you going to do? Defend a guy from 5 feet beyond the 3-point line? You can't do it. And meanwhile, these guys, when they're on, they're just hitting it like no one's business. But let's go to a later game. Let's go to Pac-12. We have a pretty decent schedule here. So UCLA hosting USC, Pauley Pavilion. These two teams hate each other's guts. USC has been a beast at home, but on the road just 2-6 and 2-6 against the number. UCLA plays so well. Their coach got fired mid-season, which you don't see a lot in college sports. 12-5 straight up at home, but just 8-9 against the number. 11-17 overall against the spread. USC 13-15. Both these teams 500 in their last 10 games. Just not a lot to love here between UCLA and USC. Brian, you got any thoughts on what's going on out west?
I'll tell you, USC almost made my final cut. I kind of like them tonight. I know they're not as good on the road. Just 2-6 ATS, the last 8. But I think the Trojans keep it close tonight, within 2 points, 1 point. I think they have a chance to knock them off. But I think this game stays close, and I'm going to take the points in this one.
I'm with you on this. I'm going to take USC plus the points. Originally looking at this game, like if I was just looking at it on the surface and I said, okay, UCLA is playing USC, I see USC's on the road, I automatically take the other team, right? Because they've been so bad on the road. But the same thing that I just said in the last game, and the same thing that I've said, for the last 10 years, at plus, when you get to the Division I level, when you get to the pro level, everybody can shoot. Everybody. I mean, some teams have a Dennis Rodman who they're not, supposed to shoot. They just grab rebounds. They have that specific role, and they're just the best at that specific thing. But really, I believe that anybody can score at that level and proficiently. But when it comes to defense, that's something special. It's an effort thing, and it says a lot about a team. USC allowing 66 points a game in their last 5, while UCLA allowing 82.8. Not even close. Even when you look at the season average, USC allowing 5 less points a game. Well, offensively, these teams are basically even. So I think, I'm going to go with the defense. I know this is why, some people, this is why I don't play fantasy sports, because I love defense. I know Brian likes fantasy. I don't play fantasy because I love defense. And if they had a fantasy league where you had defensive players and a team offense, I would play. But they don't have it, so I don't do it. But anyways, let's just do one more pick. Bring it home. You pick it, Brian. You want to do college or NHL or an NBA game? You name it. Why don't you do a pick, and I'll do a pick, and we'll bring it home.
I'll tell you what, the best NBA game that didn't make my final cut, but I highly recommend it, would be the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the points against the Sixers. Sixers are just a different team with Joel Embiid not being in the lineup. Thunder need every win they can get. I lost with the Sixers and Pelicans the other night, but I think the Thunder get it done. This number's high for a reason.
Okay, Thunder -8. You got that from Brian. And let me I'll do a quick one myself. Go to college hoops. And I don't know, I'm going to take Washington -12 against Cal. I know we have inverse line movement here. I understand we have a home dog, but Cal stinks. 0-10 in their last. I mean, they haven't won a conference game all year. Washington 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. 9-1. This is a team that. This is pretty much the Pac-12 representative in the NCAA tournament. If they don't win the conference tournament or something, these games are all going to count. 22-5. There's going to be a strong case against, the Pac-12 because the conference has been so bad top to bottom. But 22-5 against 5-22. I'll take 22-5. I'll take my chances, even though I got to lay a dozen. So I'll take Washington -12, and that'll be rounded out for me. Anyways, let's recap real quick what we went over today. Of course, our guest, is this way. Brian Bittler, welcome. Bookieblasters.com, sportschatexperts.com, picksandparlays.net, Sports Pick Info, regular guest on the podcast. His record speaks for itself. It's the first time we've had him on the show, so it's the first time I've ever had anybody on the show, so it's a new experience for me.
Be a regular during the week.
Yeah. I believe that we'll have Brian on at least once a week
fun.
going forward, I think is a good idea. We'll have him on at least once a week, every week. We'll figure out a day and do it that way. And then we'll go from there. And then, I don't know. I lost track. Oh, use the discount code LIVE25. Get 25% off Brian's picks today, my picks, any picks over at Sports.
That's a great deal, 25%.
Yep, of everything. No exclusion. Some people, the asterisk. I live in Hawaii, so I always get the asterisk, except free delivery, except for Alaska and Hawaii, right? I live in the land of the asterisk, but no asterisks here. And then, Mark, this is Mark's last month writing at Sports Chat Place. He's retiring, health reasons, and he will be missed. And I'll be mentioning that a ton because I'm personally going to miss him a lot, and I'm just sad about it. But anyways, first pick was I took the Pacers minus 3.5. Brian took the other side with the Timberwolves. We both really hate that game. Brian took Pacific plus the 23 points against Gonzaga. I agree with them there. I took Murray State minus 9.5. Brian agreed with me on that one. I took Green Bay plus the 3.5 as the home dog against Wright State in probably the under-the-radar game of the day. Brian had no opinion whatsoever on that game. We blindsided him on the pick.
Yeah, he caught me off guard.
It was a blindside, as they say. I took Xavier plus the 4.5. Brian likes St. John's up 4.5. He likes the line movement, and so basically, if that line drops even more, he's going to like that pick even more. On the other side, Brian took USC plus 3.5. I agree with him. Just defense wins late games and things like that. And plus, I think the 3.5 in a rivalry game could factor. Brian likes the Thunder minus 8 as his bring it home pick, and I took the Washington Huskies minus the 12 points at the 5-22 Cal Bears. This is Mitch with Brian Bittler. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and of course, Brian will be back, I guess, with us next week. So have a great day.
The sooner the better.